Roger Kuhn, he was an author who has written several books on Ellen White. He wrote this: "The teachings of the new prophet must not contradict that which was taught by older established prophets. Each succeeding prophet must agree with the cumulative teachings of preceding prophets. However, there's an important distinction that must be made here. There's a difference between new light and the contradiction of old light. New light is information that goes beyond that which was provided by earlier prophets, but it never contradicts it." Now let's be clear, our teachings must be proven by the Bible. That is absolutely true. It is our standard, our rule of faith and doctrine. In fact, everything we believe, all of our foundations, was found first in the Bible, before there was ever a spirit of prophecy. From 1840 to 44, those were the years we were told to return to. There was no prophet during those years. That's when the foundations of our movement were laid. God was directly leading his servants through the study of Scripture. We saw that angels of God accompanied William Miller. We saw that angels of God repeatedly visited that chosen one to guide his mind and open his understanding to the prophecies which had ever been dark to God's people. Ellen White participated in the experience leading up to 1844. It was after the midnight cry and it was after the disappointment that Ellen White received the midnight cry and the narrow way, the vision that we saw earlier. But if the Bible talks about prophets and says that the final movement needs to have a spirit of prophecy, and if the prophet meets all the biblical criteria of a prophet, then how can the prophet be less than the Bible? Some say that she never called herself a prophet, as if that was somehow an indication that she is or is not a prophet. Does the prophet have to call himself a prophet before they are one? People normally would shy away from someone who said, "I'm a prophet," wouldn't they? I think so. So why are we demanding that she call herself one? And I wonder if she had called herself one, would we even believe her? It's just an excuse. A prophet is prophet not by what they call themselves, but by fulfilling the tests of a prophet. Here's what she writes about that. "To claim to be a prophetess is something that I have never done. If others call me by that name, I have no controversy with them, but my work has covered so many lines that I cannot call myself other than a messenger sent to bear a message from the Lord to his people and to take up work in any line that he points out. My work includes much more than this name signifies. I regard myself as a messenger entrusted by the Lord with messages for his people. I am now instructed that I am not to be hindered in my work by those who engage in suppositions regarding its nature, whose minds are struggling with so many intricate problems connected with the supposed work of a prophet. My commission embraces the work of a prophet, but it does not end there. It embraces much more than the minds of those who have been sowing the seeds of unbelief can comprehend." She met the biblical criteria of a prophet, and it's clear that she not only did the work of a prophet, but much more than that. She had a message from the Lord no different than Isaiah, Ezekiel, John the Baptist, and others. Most messages from prophets aren't very popular. When Jesus performed the miracle of feeding the multitude with a few loaves and fish, they were so excited that they proposed that they would take him by force and make him the king. The next day, when Jesus rebuked them for seeking the things of this world, their excitement and their faith cooled off. And they demanded of him another miracle that they might believe. And when he rebuked them again, even more sharply, they said, "This is a hard saying. Who can hear it?" And from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. We see them turning away with a sneer. They choose to believe that they have been deceived and misled. And now that their eyes are open, and they will be fooled no longer. Such is unbelief, such it always has been, and such it always will be. She too had many things to say that weren't always well received by the ones to whom they were addressed. In fact, the deep-seated aversion to her amongst Adventists is, in my opinion, a sign of validity. When did Israel like their prophets? For the most part, they didn't care too much for them. And today, God's people are no different.